Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda Marsalis. Welcome to Heard It on the Shark. I'll be your show host, and Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area is your show sponsor. Heard It on the Shark is a weekly interview show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi. Then it's released as a podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You'll hear interviews with the movers and shakers in North Mississippi who are making things happen. I'll talk to entrepreneurs, leaders of business, medicine, education, and the people behind all the amazing things happening in North Mississippi. When people ask you, how did you know about that? You'll say, I heard it on the Shark. Heard It on the Shark is brought to you by the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area. We want you to get out and discover the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had Mr. Blake Long come over from Northeast Mississippi Community College, and we talked about some sports. But we got so excited about last year, we never did get into what's going to happen this year. So Blake has agreed to come back to Sun Bear Studio, and he's sitting here with me today, and we're going to talk about this year's sports action at Northeast Mississippi Community College. Blake, thanks for coming back.
Oh, it was awesome to be here the first time, and I'm glad to be back today, Melinda. I want to give a shout-out again to y'all. We talked about it the first time, but our partnership with the Shark in Northeast is just phenomenal, and we couldn't get the word out about the great things happening in Northeast without you guys, you, Chris, everybody here. We thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts.
Oh, we're happy to do it. We are proud to be partners. So, all right, let's just get into it. Tell me about, let's go with football. Let's just go in order.
Mm-hmm. Yep, football coming up here. We are less than a month away from kickoff Thursday, August 29th. If you've been paying attention to us, you know, most of our games are on Thursday nights. Of course, we don't want to interrupt with the high school games on Fridays. Our coaches are out recruiting. So we got 2 home games in a row to start this season. August 29th against East Central, who beat us in overtime last year down at their stadium. So that'll should be a really, really good season opener for us to test how good we're going to be. Then Southwest will come here during week 2, the first Thursday night of September after the Labor Day holiday. We've got 5 home games this year. Homecoming is on October the 10th against East Mississippi Community College. That will be a great game. East Mississippi always puts a good football team on the field. The final home game will be the Thursday before Halloween, October 24th against ICC. And so, of course, the rivalry game between us and ICC, second year in a row, we're going to have it here in Booneville. And so we're really excited about that. So 5 great home games, 9 total games. 8 of those are on Thursdays. We do have 1 Saturday game at Coahoma in October as well. That'll be their homecoming. They chose to play that game on a Saturday. So 9 great games and several talented players returning. Got 3 really good running backs that are coming back. Our O-line, I think at least 3 of the 5 starters are coming back there on the offensive line. Do have some players to replace defensively. We mentioned in the first interview about Keaton Thomas, who was a All-American linebacker. He's gone to Baylor. Had a couple of more players move on. C.J. Barney was a defensive end. He walked on at Ole Miss. And so we are going to have to replace several key pieces there. But obviously our coaching staff led by head coach Greg Davis, defensive coordinator Sean Cannon, and then now first-year offensive coordinator Stedman Campbell. So he'll be the one major change on our coaching staff this year. But those guys all do a great job and should bring up for another exciting football season here at Northeast.
You know, it's just so great the way that you guys allow kids to keep going with the careers that they've built in high school. So they've spent all this time playing football in high school, and then, bam, it's over, except that you guys let it keep going. The dream stays alive for 2 more years, and they can get their education while they do that. So it's so exciting.
And it's honestly, it's a rare thing across the country. You know, it's expensive to have a football program, you know, and there are not many community colleges across the nation that do. You know, you've got our conference here in Mississippi where pretty much every school except for Meridian plays football. Texas, they have several junior college football teams. Kansas has a big league. But other than those 3 states in California, there's not many junior college football teams. So Mississippi athletes, I hope they recognize how blessed they are, because we get 65 roster spots during the regular season. And I want to say that at least 53 to 54 have to be in-state athletes. So, they get an opportunity to continue playing a sport they love and get their school paid for and get their higher education. I can't tell you the amount of players who have come through. It might be their first generation to go to college, but community college football in Mississippi has helped them pay the way to get an education. And so not only are we putting out great student athletes, but we're putting out great members of society through the sport of football. And it's a rare thing around the country, a whole lot rarer than people think.
Yeah, and it comes with such pageantry that brings other kids in with the band and
Absolutely.
the cheerleaders and the pom squad. And then all these kids get to continue doing what they love to do so much.
Boy, and our band department is so phenomenal. Mr. Mitchell is our band director, and Mr. Bechtel there as well. I'm going to miss somebody. I don't want to name too many names, but man, the pageantry you mentioned, I couldn't say it better, between the pep rallies on game days all the way down to them marching across the boulevard to the football stadium in Booneville, the pregame show, the halftime show, and I'll shout out to the band parents as well. They show up in support without a doubt, and we appreciate them, and Mr. Mitchell does a great job adding to the environment. Our cheerleaders under the direction of Chastity Moore, we've got 20, it's an all-female cheer squad we have at Northeast, and so Chastity Moore has been with us now for nearly 10 years as our cheer coach and does an outstanding job. So again, all that creates such a wonderful game day atmosphere. Obviously, if you've been to a Ripley football game, it's the same thing at Northeast, just on a bigger level. Our band is 250 or so plus strong, not including the pom squad and the cheerleaders. It's just an awesome, awesome atmosphere on Thursday nights in Booneville.
I got to agree. It's fun. And you can watch the whole thing on
NEMCC TV. That's right.
Or listen to it on the Shark.
On the Shark. We'd love to do either one. We support either one. And again, we do air the band at halftime. We make sure and give those guys the love they deserve as well. But yeah, we're so blessed to have NEMCC TV, which we operate, and then our partnership with the Shark. If you want to watch or listen to Northeast, there's no way you're not going to miss it. I can promise you that.
That's exactly right. All right, let's go on to basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Basketball's kind of been the sport at Northeast traditionally that has the most success. And as we talked about on the last podcast, we came through and won a conference championship on the men's side last year. We have a returning All-American in Tyler Bird out of Memphis, Tennessee is where he's from, but he is a phenomenal player, can shoot the ball well. We've got an incoming freshman, I've been told, who is outstanding. His name is Rue Mills from Cincinnati, Ohio. And so between those two, our coaches, and of course we got a lot of in-state talent as well. That's one thing about Mississippi Community Colleges. A majority of your players are in-state from right here inside Mississippi. And so we're excited about another year there. Great expectations. Again, the women are the same way. Chelsea Rhodes will enter her third year as the head coach of our women's basketball team. And from what she's told me, she's pretty much said, watch out, we're going to be really good this year. So she's got in particularly a really, really tough schedule. They're not finalized yet, but she's going to be playing at least 7 or 8 teams from Florida, and Florida community colleges don't have the restrictions we have on recruiting. Whereas a majority of our rosters have to be Mississippi student athletes, but they can recruit internationally from across the country and have as many there as they want. And so those teams are traditionally some of the better teams in the country. So the fact she's going out and playing some of them, I'm really excited about what basketball is going to be this winter. And of course, again, as with football, you can hear most of those games here on the Shark as well. So we're excited about that continuing partnership. Baseball and softball in the spring. Again, I would imagine, baseball, again, mentioned third straight playoff appearance last year. And I talked literally before we recorded this interview with one of our great assistant coaches, Will Brand, yesterday. And he said was very excited. They're still having recruits coming on campus for the next year, but they're really excited. We moved on from this past year about 7 or 8 guys to 4-year schools, but some great players returning. Lath Holiday in center field will be there. He had a great summer playing baseball, and I believe he was in Kentucky or somewhere in the Midwest. Our guys they'll go across the country playing summer baseball and continuing to get reps in. But they expect another great year. 27-27 was their record last year. I would expect it to be better than that this year. They expect a big bounce back. and to host playoff baseball at the Plex, our beautiful brand new multi-million-dollar baseball facility at Northeast. It'll be 5 or 6 years old this coming year. So, I mean, it's amazing. And then softball, again, coming off the winningest 2-year period in school history, they had an outstanding recruiting class filled with a lot of local talent. You've got great pitchers like Maddie Mask from Kossuth who are coming in, Ramsey Montgomery from Manatee, that are all competed or won state championships in high school at that level. And so softball, again, neither of those two sports should regress either. They are set up for long-term success.
Do you guys play softball in the fall?
They actually get a chance to play exhibition schedules. So both baseball and softball will play anywhere between 10 to 15 games in the fall, but they won't count toward their overall record. It's just a chance for a lot of 4-year schools will come and watch them play in the fall. That way they can start offering them and making their teams up for the next year. But B, it gives our coaches a chance to see them in action and prepare them for this next level. Again, the game, high school game is a good game, but you can talk to Michael Harrison or anybody who's done one of our games. It gets a little faster, a little more advanced, even at our level, at the community college level. So getting those fall games in does help, and they'll start those up about mid-September or so.
Is volleyball in the fall?
Volleyball is in the fall. We'll begin year number 2 under Coach Brenda Mays. And, again, I was going to brag on her over the summer. She was put into, I can't believe it, but she's a member of now, I think, 7 different sports halls of fame. She is an incredible person. If you've never met Coach Mays, I invite you to come by and do so. But she actually coached in Alabama at Muscle Shoals, another famous music city, for 25-plus years. Won 4 high school state championships at Muscle Shoals High School. This summer, she was inducted into the Alabama High School Coaches Volleyball Hall of Fame. And so that's now her 7th Hall of Fame she's a member of. And year 1, they went through some ups and downs of volleyball, which, of course, any new program is going to do. But, that's also the promise of year 2 is that extra recruiting time. You have some players with some college experience that are coming back. Last year, we had a roster full of 13 freshmen. And so, they had their struggles from time to time. I don't expect they'll have as many this year.
Hey, but that's pretty smart, getting 13 freshmen to have them all come back.
It's
that's
incredible.
Very clever.
Absolutely. And then the newest sport we're having at Northeast this year, cross country. We're starting that up this year. We hired Aaron Height, who is a phenomenal gentleman. I've gotten to know him over the summer some, but we're going to have men's and women's cross-country teams, one of only 3 colleges in Mississippi, at the community colleges, I should say, to offer cross-country now. And so we got their schedule in just a couple of days ago. They're going to be competing in Alabama, Tennessee, and a lot of great events. So, we're thrilled with that. And then coming a year from now, Northeast is adding women's golf. So we're growing our athletic department. By the time we're done, we're going to have 13 athletic programs by this time next year.
That is fantastic. It's a good time to be in partnership with Northeast, isn't it?
Well, we love our partnership. It's a good day, any day, to be a Northeast Tiger. And it all goes back to our leadership. Again, Dr. Ricky Ford, anybody who knows him knows he's a humble leader, but he loves athletics. He loves Northeast as a whole, and he wants to give our students as many opportunities as possible to succeed. I would dare say golf will probably not be our last sport we add, the women's golf team. I figure there'll be more down the road, but he's adding more opportunities to our college. And whether that's in the workforce training, whether that is through more programs in the nursing department, we're adding at Northeast. It's not just athletics. His saying is we move forward, and our college continues to move forward. And also want to give a great shout out to our athletic director, Kent Ferris, who is also one of the great visionaries behind all the additions and everything we do here at Northeast too.
Blake, they're mighty lucky to have you, and I look forward to seeing you on the air this fall.
Thank you, Melinda. And again, thanks to you, Chris, Michael Harrison here, and a shout out to Carter and Jody. Excited to hear them on the airwaves once again. Our 3rd year of partnership for Northeast Athletics with the Shark. Going to be a great year.
It is. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Okay, Shark fans, that's it for this edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to find out what's going on with local community leaders. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview, or if you want access to this interview, go to our website, Shark 1023, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great rest of the day.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells-Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel-Laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at mississipphills.org.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.